Hi everyone, this video provides an introduction to the Geo 303 laboratory. Before we begin, I want to bring up the status of the lab next week. So on Monday is Labor Day, and because of that we won't have class and we won't have lab. So for those individuals who have scheduled laboratory on Monday, we need you to find another lab section that you can attend. So we will be providing a list of all the lab sections that are available during the week, and we would really appreciate it if you would find one that you can attend and sign up for it. Okay, so let's talk about the laboratory. So the goal of this laboratory is to provide a more detailed introduction to some of the concepts that we study in the class. So for example, in the laboratory we're going to be looking at mineral identification. So we will be looking at what characteristics allow us to identify different minerals, and then why those characteristics are important for those particular minerals in terms of their being identifying characteristics. In the class, at the same time, we'll be talking about, why are minerals the way they are, what are their underlying structure, and how does that affect its behavior. So hopefully, for most of the class, these two things will sort of support one another. Now, there's a couple expectations for lab. So the first one is that you come prepared. So for each lab section in the lab syllabus, we provide information on what chapter you're supposed to read. So when you get to lab, you should be prepared to do the exercises that you're given. And part of that is completing the lab pre-homework. So every week, you will have an assigned pre-homework that will be posted on Canvas. And so it's a multiple choice exercise you can take at home before you get to lab, and it ensures that you have done the reading and are properly prepared for the laboratory. When you arrive in lab, you will be given a lab pre-quiz, and the idea of the pre-quiz is essentially to test you on the material from the previous week. And the idea here is just to make sure that you are learning the concepts, that we're keeping track that you've learned the concepts that you're supposed to have learned. And then the third thing you're going to have in the lab is the weekly lab assignment. So you'll have an exercise that you conduct in lab, and you should be able to finish by the time lab is over and turn into your TA. Your TA will grade both the quiz and the lab by the time you get the lab assignment by the time you have lab the following week. So within 7 days, both of those things will be graded and uploaded to the grades will be uploaded to Canvas. Okay. The other thing we have in this lab is we have lab exams. So we have a lab midterm that's going to occur the week of October 15th. It will occur in laboratory, so it'll be in your lab section. And for the first one, it'll be very much hands-on, so looking at and identifying mineral samples and rock samples and all that. So you need to learn these identifications. And we're going to provide some online resources in Canvas to help you practice and things like that. So that's a lab midterm. There's also a lab final, which will be, it's not cumulative, so basically the lab midterm is in the first half of the labs, and the lab final is in the second half of the labs. And the lab final will be November 26th, so it's a week after Thanksgiving. In terms of other things you need for the lab, you need to make sure that you bring writing utensils, pencils preferably with erasers, because you're probably going to have to erase things, and you need to bring your book, because sometimes we're going to use some exercises in the book for the lab. And so this brings up the issue of buying a book. So you can buy a used one if you choose, but you need to make sure that pages have not been ripped out, and so the exercises are still there. The TAs will not provide those exercises for you. Okay, so with that, I think that's the main part of the lab that I wanted to discuss. We'll see you in class next week. Thanks.